So hello and welcome to the channel, welcome to another Assetto Corsa Competizione video. We're going to be looking at the controller during this video. Probably one of the most watched videos on my channel is all about the controller setup, and I had mentioned to another YouTube subscriber that I would re-look at these because a couple of people have said that things have changed since I last did the video. So over the Christmas period I've been away and did play the game on my laptop using the controller, and this definitely was the case. It definitely needs looking at. So like last time, I'm going to set a representative lap using my wheel and pedals, and then we're going to see how close we can get to that lap using a control pad. And I will just add that I do think Assetto Corsa Competizione is playable with a control pad. I did have a little look at trying to play Automobilista 2 using a control pad, and it is utterly unplayable. I spent ages trying to set the control pad up, and it just doesn't work in the way that Assetto Corsa allows you to use the control pad within the game. So as you can see, we're going to be here in the Ferrari. I'll share the Ferrari setup that I've also got here at Kyalami, and I chose Kyalami because some of the areas of the circuit we need to be quick with the wheel, and we also need to be able to put a nice smooth lock on, especially around corners like this where we need to be progressive with the power feeding it in, or progressive with the steering, and through the chicane we need to be very quick with the wheel. So we need something that works between the two sort of actions you need within the wheel. So let's have a look at some of the settings that we're going to be using. So I'll just exit this replay and we'll come into doing a lap with the wheel first, just so you get an idea of how you're driving the car around the circuit. But in the setup, I'll just cover the settings for now. When you go into the controller setup, it still gives you these options to change gear, and this doesn't change with the key bindings at all. So you'll need to set these up on your control pad. We'll do that in a minute when we come back, but just remember that if you've changed those and you come back to using a wheel, or you are using a wheel, you'll need to make those adjustments. So let's just we'll just quickly have a look at the setup actually, so you've got the setup. And I didn't notice that making any changes to the setup gives any benefit when you are using a control pad. So the same setup works whether you're using a wheel or not. I'll just bring up the MFD. We are in a hot lap session, so I've got the tyres set up in such a way that they're hot pretty quickly. So down to turn 1, we're going to brake at the 100-yard marker, or 100-yard board. I'm not going to switch between traction controls. Already a bit wide from my previous Ghost. So getting loads of time on in there, staying in third gear I think. I say loads of time, it was tense really. Not the best around the last corner. But I'm not going to waste time setting numerous laps because you're all here to see the control settings. But you can see we've set a 141.6 And I know that in this car and with the setup, I would probably hit a 140.8 yesterday, 141.2 pretty consistently. So let's return back and go into the options, and we're going to switch to the control setup. So switching to the controller, and I'm going to pick up my trusty controller, and I'm just going to drop my seat back a little bit because it's just a bit easier when you've got this in front of you. I don't need my gloves anymore. And we're just going to change these. So shift up, I'm going to use the A button, and shift down, I'm going to use the X button. And the acceleration is going to be on the top paddles, accelerate on the right hand side and brake on the left hand side. I'm just going to switch between these. Obviously we're steering with this one. And you can see I've already got these set up, and the steer filter makes a massive difference with how quickly the car will turn from one side to the other. It's probably a bit like this at the minute, and if you come down even to say 97, 96, you'll see it's really erratic like this. So we're trying to get it nice and smooth. So you can see here, see the brake pedal changing gear. And one of the other main things that we need to look at in here as well is this one here, steering assistance. Now it might be, you might think, oh, I don't want steering assistant on because that's going to damage my lap time. It makes such a difference with how precise you can be, and if you need that little subtle opposite lock, it just gives you that ability to have a little bit more control. I think turning that off is a real mistake. Other things maybe in assistance, you can see all these other things that I have got off. Stability control off, definitely. So yeah, let's try and set a lap. So you can see there, steering left and right. That's the other thing that I would actually change. Let's just stop there. That one to cycle through. And I'm just going to change the camera angle. I'd like to see my hands. You see how slow? I'll just move, because when you sat still and all the weight's on the wheel, steering is that slow. See how slow it is when you sat still? And as soon as you're moving, it's that fast. So let's try and set a lap. And you can see how when I'm turning the wheel, it starts to go out of control. He actually starts to put the opposite lock on himself. So that's how the steering assistance is helping you. So again, here we go again. So we're trying to get that braking in a nice straight line so that we're not turning. I don't think it's too bad, to be honest. To say this is a simulator, to be able to play it with a control pad. I don't profess to be one of the best with a controller. Just clipping that curve there, you can see the opposite lock. try another lap. Not too far away. I don't think that's too bad, to be honest. So just show you the difference. Obviously we've got, that's my steering at the minute. If we come into the controller and we just come down, maybe even just, you have what, 3 clicks? That's how much quicker it is, the steering. It makes such a difference. And I just think that it ends up being too choppy. If we go to 100, you can see it's just a bit too slow. It's not responsive enough really for getting through the corners. And it just feels like you're waiting for the wheel to come back. But it's unbelievable that that one click just makes it feel much better. It just feels like you can steer quickly left and right. And I have messed around with both of these other settings, speed sensitivity and steer speed, but I can't really notice them making more differences in a good way. I don't exactly know what they're doing. I sometimes think speed sensitivity is how sensitive the wheel is when you're at speed, and then the steer speed is, it's almost like how much lock you can get on. But I think there's a good variety of corners here at Kyalami for this setup to work at other venues. I mean, I suppose we could just quickly quit out of that and see. I must have a setup for other circuits. Maybe even try Spa. I've not tried Spa. Just see if the current setup that I've got there works all right. We'll just do the hot lap, see if I can get through a Rouge maybe. I'm sure I've shared whatever setup I've got on here. Oh, I've not done a setup since 1.9.4, so that's how long it's been. So we'll just load that setup. There might be a few issues with it. I'll just change that brake balance because I've been more towards that way. There's probably a few little subtle differences in there that I'd change, but let's see how this feels.
Green light, green light. Go,
So
go.
back with, you can see, just going through there. Let's see if I can get through a Rouge. And the traction control definitely limiting acceleration. Let's just return back. Let's quickly just have a look at this setup. Yeah, I think the steering ratio just needs to come down a little bit just to get through that turn there. It seemed a little bit slow at getting the lock on. So try and get the car straight. That's better. Subtle lift through there. Not sure whether I'd need to lift with the wheel. Very hard with a controller. Just little touches with the wheel. Pedals, sorry. And I love how it just gives that little corrections when you've just gone a little bit too far. It is assisted, obviously, but it's very hard to be as precise as you need to be with a control pad. We get a 120. No. One more lap. Still enjoying playing the game even with a control pad. That's much better. Lose loads of time through there. Still losing loads of time. Come on. A 121. That's not too bad. Oh, 221. I don't think that's too bad with a control pad. Especially considering I don't use a control pad ever. So I'm sure there's plenty of people out there that would be spending a lot more time. You can see where there's loads of areas where I'm going wrong with the lap. And if this is all you've got, and you can play this game and still enjoy playing it, as far as I'm concerned. Things that you might want to look at with regards to the setups then, obviously to get the wheel moving a little bit quicker, like we looked at, not in there, in the car setup itself. This might make a huge amount of difference. Things like getting through a rouge, tight corners, making sure that that's down 13, 14 maybe. Brake as well, the ABS, maybe it might be worth using 4 or 5 even, just to be a bit more subtle on the brake pedal. Traction control again, because you've not really got as much fidelity in your finger as you've got in the foot pedal that you're so used to driving with, or I haven't anyway. You might benefit from having a little bit more traction control, just so that you're not overdriving the rear of the car so much. Other things, I can't really see other things. Obviously this is a setup from a long time ago with a different version of the game, so I don't even know how this would fare driving it with a wheel. But hopefully the settings within this menu have helped you out. You could just look through the other things that I've got set. I've got B for using the pit speed limiter. Cycle through my camera views. You could probably use that one to look back. Y, I could probably use that for something else, because I wouldn't use that without the wheel really. But yeah, you could have a little bit more vibration if you want. But yeah, I don't think I'd mess around with these too much more. I think I spent a bit of time messing with speed sensitivity and the steer speed, and didn't really feel either way of where I've got them set now was a benefit. So yeah, hopefully you find that useful. Thanks for watching, first video of the year. Obviously there's a lot coming with Assetto Corsa Evo for PC users. Whether my laptop's even going to be able to run it, I don't know. But for the time being, obviously guys will be playing Assetto Corsa still on console. And yeah, I'll just keep bringing as much content as I can throughout the year. Thanks for watching as always. Ciao for now.